Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cyberchains Devstream. Tonight we're going to be working on the scripting engine a little bit more. Well, not the scripting engine itself, but some tools to make working with the scripting engine a little bit easier. We're continuing on some work from last week here, where we've been kind of working on developing like an actual, slightly higher level scripting language than just, raw hex. But anyway, how's everyone doing tonight? Oh, I did not mute YouTube. There we go. No more echo. Hey Chocolate, hey Icarus, hey Fanger, and wow, we have a celebrity in the chat, Dart himself. Dichronix was gonna join tonight, but I guess they had a very, very long workday, and I think just went straight to bed. Not sure, might pop in later, but we'll see. That's alright though. Alright, so where we left off last week, we had come up with an assembly name for every single one of the opcodes, and we had just started talking about the parameters, which are far more of a nightmare. So let's see what we've got here. So we got a couple of immediates. Immediates are just basically raw numbers. The problem is a lot of these parameter types are really, really similar. And naming is hard. Giving things proper names is probably the most difficult part of programming. A name that actually makes sense not only to you, but to everyone else as well. That's kind of important. So I think for now, actually, I might skip over the names and just start documenting how those parameters work, and then we can go back and give them a name after. Now the problem is just getting all of these right. Icarus width is the number of words that it takes up in the script. Um, so let me just open up a document here. So commands kind of have a format like this. So you have the header, which is a 8-bit, well, I'll put this down here. So a header has an 8-bit parameter count, 8 bits op. Hmm, yeah, 8-bit opcode and then 16-bit parameter. And then for every parameter count there is, you have 8-bit param type, and then the next 24 bits varies per type. Now, some of these parameters, depending on their type, can actually take up multiple words. So knowing the width is very important so that you don't accidentally interpret some of these like multi-word parameters as multiple parameters instead of one. For example, the first immediate here. So it has a parameter type of 0. So any number that has zeros in its high byte can be put in here. So, you know, like if we had the value, the parameter 1, for example, that's going to look like OX00000001. It's got zeros in its high byte, so it can be an immediate, like a regular immediate. But if we had a, well, let's say -1, for example, it does not, so this would get interpreted as a different opcode. So instead, we would have a 2-byte immediate opcode, which is this next immediate one here. So this gets interpreted as parameter type 1, which says it's 2 bytes or 2 words wide, and the next word is the actual value. Now, inline, all of these are various, basically pointers into different portions of the script file. Let's see. These are a bit weird because they, how does this work? So this just reads the, oh, okay, it's cast to short. Okay, that's not too bad, but how do we write this down? I guess just, since it's the lower two, it's just 0 and 1. And it is 1/4 of the offset. They didn't need to record the full offset because everything is word aligned. So this is the offset plus over 2 bytes of RAM times 4. Not looking forward to getting into some of these more complicated ones. This is like inline. Call this inline, call this inline array. Oh Jesus, this is like inline array. And so is this one, except different. Oh, these names are so bad. Literally do not know what else to put. This is confusing is what it is. It's probably easier to just, I don't know, it might be easier to, no, I'll leave it as text for now. It's fine, we'll figure it out. This one, how do I even parse this? Okay, that's, yeah, okay, those first two are the same. Why would we have a double table lookup? Is a very good question. Okay, that's gonna have to be good enough for now. Same thing here. Or not. Okay, so 0 is... Okay, those are both storage, and then it's the current offset being used as base with no modification. Hmm. I'm kind of wondering if we shouldn't just start trying to improve the parser. So I've got some ideas. Um, it's a bit complicated. So right now the parser actually works. It works quite well, but we have an issue where sometimes it can misinterpret like data that's encoded into the scripts, like non-code data, for example, like um, well, like jump tables or like NPC conversations and stuff like that. Sometimes they can have basically like the same patterns as like script commands, but obviously they're not. Um, so the parser, since these commands are variable length, it can get misaligned and start trying to disassemble commands like in the middle of them instead of from the start. And at that point, it becomes pretty much useless. Um, that being said, it is fairly rare, but I would like to kind of take that a bit further, and instead of using this naive start at the beginning and run until the end approach, instead of doing that, sort of build up a tree of jumps and go subs, and kind of use those to take a more educated guess at what is and isn't code. Um, Now on the resource archive here, which one of these was it Vampire Kiwi that we had mostly... Yeah, I think this was the one that we put the most work into. Yeah, TFC's got all these bookmarks and stuff. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, actually here is a good example of data being interpreted as code. Obviously these aren't all pauses, they are assorted bits of data. This is not just random code in the middle here. This is a giant table of data that's all being interpreted as shenanigans. This is probably, yeah, this would definitely be the start of an actual method and not garbage like the rest. Alright, anyway. So I'm just going to create a secondary parser too, very creatively named. And the first order of business will be determining the, well, A, how many entry points there are, and B, what those entry points are. We originally thought that there was always 16 entry points. That is unfortunately not the case because the LOD devs could not do anything sensibly to save their lives. So here, looks like we do have 16 entry points here. So I'm thinking probably the easiest way to determine what the entry points are is to just kind of take a look at them and see. I mean, most command headers start with a value in the high byte. This one doesn't, unless I am okay, hold on. 10C is, that is probably not a header. I know that's a parameter. Yeah, okay. So that's definitely not. See, this illustrates the problem here really easily. This could very well be an offset into the script. You know, 10C, we come down here, and you know, that could just be function number 4 with 0 parameters. We know it's not, but we know a lot more than a simple parser does, and we can make educated guesses. So this is unfortunately complicated. This here is easy because we can see, obviously, having 0f in the high byte, that would be a really big number. Way, way bigger than the entire script. So it can't be, but this could. We can't just look for numbers that are out of order. Because, for example, this entry point is after this one, but it is smaller. We might need to, Hey Pony Bro, how's it going? Okay, I have an idea. It will require us knowing which parameters are which. A lot of this disassembler still uses terminology from very, very early, back when we were just actually figuring out that this was in fact a scripting language. Okay. So I think we do want to define these ops as let's just do this as an enum for now. That's good to hear. Yep, just me tonight. Zychronics had a pretty long day, and I think just kind of fell asleep immediately after work, which is fine. Wait, because we are not dealing with parameters right now. We're dealing with opcodes. How do we want to do this? We need to denote the parameters in some way. Yeah, he was saying something about being on a work call from like noon until 5 o'clock, or maybe even later. I don't even remember. I've been there. I understand. So I was gonna have an array of parameters, but we can also have that p parameter as well from the command header. That's not what I wanted. Constructor parameters. I have an overload here that does not take a header param. Since a lot of commands don't use that. We are naming these two the same. We've got 3 rewinds. Our broken swap. Then copy another rewind. Move declared? Oh, yeah, we do have 2 moves. Oh, right, that just sets it to 0. Oh shoot, we can't do this because that is ambiguous. Well, I guess we do need to just do a string array. Comp weight uses both. I promise this will get more interesting once we actually start writing code. And 1 for this one. Probably just going to partially implement this and then go back and start writing code to actually test out to see if what I'm planning will actually work or not. Yeah, thanks, Erwan. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that, but thank you. I'll definitely join Drew on some of the streams. Um, I've been very, very busy working on Severed Chains. Um, we're hard at work on the recommended build 3 stuff, and I have been just like non-stop rewriting math code for like 3 weeks. And starting to get some pretty interesting stuff with much higher resolution calculations. I'll just leave that as a little tease for now. Um, but I'll be showing that off pretty soon. I'm not talking about like higher like screen resolution. I just mean like well, the PS1 doesn't do decimal numbers. You can only have whole numbers, so a lot of the math is like fairly poor approximations. That's one of the reasons that on the actual like OG PS1 hardware you get that really bad geometry wobbling when you're moving around or like moving the camera. Um, we've never had that issue because from the start we did use high resolution math for the actual like perspective division. But I've been pushing that much farther. And well, let's take a look at this. Yeah. So this has been my my last 3 weeks or so. Around 6,000 lines of code changed across 94 files. And that's really still just the start of it. I just started I just started converting the matrix code like yesterday. Okay, so I think we can continue using this state class here. That's basically just for reading from the script. Yeah, see, when I originally wrote this, I had assumed that there was 16 entry points. And of course, as I said before, we have determined that that is not the case. I haven't seen any with more, so I think we can still use a loop like this, but we're gonna have to do a little bit of extra logic here. Gonna move this out here. It is a lot. You are not mistaken. Actually, you know what? While we're talking about this, um, I'm just going to there's something moderately sorry about that. IntelliJ murdered my stream by using 100% of my CPU to compile. Anyway, we are back. Not sure exactly when it died, but I'm just gonna show something off here real quick. Shoot, I don't have my saves there. Just let me copy those over. Hopefully I have my save just before Melbu. I don't usually do my work on my desktop. I do most of the Sever Chains work on my laptop, so I don't have all of my saves and stuff. No. So I'm not sure if this save will actually load without crashing. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm in the middle of rewriting tons and tons and tons of code, and there's a lot of places that has completely broken. Yeah, Chocolate. Can you send me a save like right before Malibu? Preferably a save anywhere save, like literally just before you fight him, 'cause that's where I've been doing my testing. Anyway, we'll get back to this for now and jump back to that in a bit. Okay. Yeah, where like after it has turned red and everybody's just standing there and you can actually like run up to Malibu and Dart does the whole like this is our final fight, are you ready thing. Alright, so we need to write a method that checks to see if an op looks like a header. This one here is the one specifically that I'm looking at. So first we need to read it. These don't need to return long anymore. Okay, so there we go. Chocolate just sent me the save. Um, Drop this in here. Yeah, no, I enjoy working on it. I mean, there's been a couple of times over the years where I've gotten pretty burnt out, just from kind of like banging my head against a wall when I'm working on something like endlessly and just cannot for the life of me get it to work. One of those times specifically was actually fairly early into the project, when I was trying to get controller code working, like trying to make it so you could actually like interact with the main menu. And well, to put it into perspective, like the amount of controller code is probably comparable to like the entire game engine minus the rendering code. Like, it is insane how much code you need to make controllers work on the PS1. And it was like weeks and weeks of work, and I was just getting nowhere. And like, there was a point where I actually thought like, that's like this is the end of the project. Like, I'm never going to be able to get this working. Yeah, we can leave it here and just listen for a minute. But yeah, I actually like there was I was seriously considering giving up because I didn't think that I'd ever be able to get it working. But obviously that didn't happen. I eventually just ended up like completely, almost entirely yeeting the actual like game's code and writing it from scratch, which mind you was not trivial because like I had no idea how it was supposed to work. So it was kind of just like a shot in the dark that ended up working and basically saved the entire project. Alright, let's load this up. Okay, so there's some matrix math that is backwards somewhere. And when I walk left or right, let me make this real big. When I walk left or right, you're gonna see that Dart's model is backwards, but his animations are still playing as normal. And the first time I saw this, I just like laughed out loud. And also, after a while of walking, Dart just starts spinning. Not really sure what's up with that, but yeah. Anyway, that's a thing. But boy, if you can get it, if you can get him lined up exactly so his back is facing you, it looks good. Come on, give me a dead on. Okay, we're not quite dead on, but anyway. So yeah, that's been my life lately, and it's going surprisingly well. I mean, like I said, I've like wholesale rewritten like 6,000 lines of math code basically, and up until this matrix stuff, um, which I mean I fully expected to break a lot of stuff because it's like major fundamental reworking of how the game renders. up until this point, it's actually gone like way better than it has any right to. The only thing that is broken right now is Death Dimension out of like every single effect. Yeah, Carissa, a few of them look pretty upset. Okay. Um, so we need a method to we need to be able to look up an opcode by its opcode. I am so not used to typing on this keyboard. Literally the only time that I use my desktop is during the dev streams. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is first we're gonna do an op lookup. So if we don't find an opcode, then we know for sure it is not an opcode. And then we're just going to compare the parameter counts and see if they match. So then if we find something that does look like an opcode, but we have the wrong number of parameters, then we can be pretty confident that it is not in fact that opcode. And if we find one that is not an entry point, then we just break out of the loop because there's never anything interleaved with the entry points. Another thing that we can do is check if the entry point is too far into the file. Also, we can check to see if it is not a multiple of 4. So my idea is basically to start at each entry point and kind of probe through the code, branching everywhere that is necessary, um, and just kind of interpreting the code as if we were sort of running it. Now the question is, how the hell do we do that? Right, the old one's just kind of hard-coded to start at a specific address. So I think we want to have a map that records the number of times we hit each address of code. Someone just joined the Discord call. Okay, as I was saying, I think we want to have a map that records the number of hits for each address. Um, so first off, it's going to be kind of, I'm gonna make a method for this. I can't remember what Java does if you try and add to null. Oh, there's a put if absent. That's convenient. Now if we, well, I can't quite run it yet. I suppose I'll just add a runner directly to this. If I run this, we should get one hit on each entry point. We did not do that. Oh. I'm just gonna hard code something here. Let's take the Vampire Kiwi script. That was 22, right? No, it was 28. We didn't get anything for the entry points. Alright, let's take a look at what happened there. So the entry point we got is 69F8. Let's just verify that is... We are looking at script 18, not 28. 69F8, yes. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. The op is 328. So let's jump down there. 69F8. That's not right. What's going on here? Oh, sorry. Hex, of course. It is right. Oh, of course. The reason is just because I haven't implemented all of the ops yet. Okay, let's just go back to this real quick and implement some more of them. Because this is kind of an important part of this program working, or this method working, rather. Shouldn't take too long. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Nice when I can just copy and paste them all. Then we've got copies of mod for some reason. Alright, I'm going to do down to call for now. Arctangent. Oops. And I suppose we can also have another overload that just has the header param. Now call is a little bit weird because it can have any number of parameters. That might throw things off a bit. Yeah, I think we need to have... Yeah, we're definitely going to have to handle that here. The call allows calling into the game engine code, and it just forwards along the parameters. So we would need to go through all 800 and something of those and document the parameter count for each. So that's going to be a job for another day. But now let's see if this works any better. Okay. So this time we still get... What opcode are you? You're 72. Okay. That is a go sub. So we're gonna have to go a little bit further. Fortunately, they get pretty sparse down here. So P is operand, then... Oh, whoops, I just noticed I made a mistake here. Okay, that's better. If I use the right bracket. This one we have no left. What is everyone looking forward to most in the next build of Severed Chains? Kind of curious about that. For me, I think it's probably... I mean, OpenGL seems like the obvious answer. Well, recommended build 3 is going to have some interesting stuff. The main one that I think most people are looking forward to is OpenGL, which brings with it a lot of never before seen things. I mean, we've all seen like upscaled resolution, of course. I mean, you even got that in like the PS4 and PS5 versions, and we've had that on emulators forever. But um, we're pushing it a lot farther than emulators can ever go. Um, Part of which is this math rewrite that I'm doing. Um, that means we're gonna have like more accurate rendering across the board, so higher quality animations, higher quality models, everything is just gonna look better. I'm definitely looking forward to what that is gonna look like. Because I honestly don't know. I mean, I've got a glimpse of it already in the stuff that I am working on. And just from what I've seen so far, and I've only really scratched the surface, is it's a pretty big deal. I'll just say that. Hoping to be able to show that off sometime soon. Alright, so we've got a go sub now. We check the parameter calls. Parameter call count is 1, and that passes the check. So we have ourselves an entry point. Let's run to the end and see how many we get. We only got 1. It must have been another one that I have not yet disassembled. Let's take a look. Go sub and then null. What op are you? Op 88. Alright, let's just finish this list. It's not exciting, but we're almost at the end. Another interesting thing that's coming in RB3, and actually the main reason that I'm doing this right now, writing this improved script disassembler, and then eventually the rebuilder, recompiler, couldn't think of the word for a minute, is that the modding API is currently being held back by a bunch of stuff in scripts. Once we do this, I can rewrite the scripts